Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Olga is here. For those of you who haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the bell as well to get the latest notifications about the videos I post out there for you guys. And also please give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and jump right into this video. We are going to be reviewing foundation today. I picked this up in Ulta because I used to use Covergirl a lot when I was a teen, and that was kind of like very first real makeup that I played with on my own. This is something that I started using when I was junior in high school. So I was just getting into all of that and knew nothing about this, but I remembered Covergirl, and so when I saw this on the shelf, I decided to give it a try. This new foundation by Covergirl is called Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation with vitamins, insulizal sunscreen, broad spectrum SPF 20. This is in the shade 705. It contains 30 milliliters of product or 1 fluid ounce of product. And the interesting thing is, I looked in the back of this foundation. It actually tells you the honest-to-God expiration date. As you might recall from my previous videos, and other makeup channels I'm sure covered this topic as well, that makeup brands aren't necessarily, I cannot talk anymore, aren't necessarily required to put actual expiration date. Usually they will have a little container with an open lid like this on the side, and they will have like 12 or 24 month period. This guy right here, however, does have an expiration date, which is really nice. It expires on March 2019. So it really gives you kind of an idea when you should toss the product. This is made in the USA. Lightweight, full coverage makeup. This formula hydrates and includes a complex of SPF 20, vitamins, and antioxidant. This formula is oil-free. When I looked on the Covergirl website to find out how many shades does this foundation come in, it comes in pathetic 14 shades. To be honest with you, it's better than some foundations, but I would say that given that Covergirl has been on the market all of these years, better step it up, Covergirl. We don't just come in 14 shades. I really would love to see some warm skin tones and darker skin tones, because people come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and colors. So 14 is a good start, but I was hoping to see like, say, 20, 22 shades, 30 shades, you know, that would be nice. Especially after Rihanna came out with 40 shades of her own foundation line. It's really, it tells you something. So now that I said that and it's out of the way, I am going to apply this foundation. I actually have played with this before because I don't really like just doing something like a first impression without a follow-up video. It's great to have a first impression, but then you need to absolutely follow up and see how something performs throughout the day. So I have used it, I will be honest with you, but what I haven't done is I have not used it with different methods of applying it. So I have used a damp beauty blender, but I have not used it with a foundation brush, and I have not tried my Clarisonic Smart Profile brush. So I am going to divide my face into like 3 zones. I will do my left cheek with a beauty blender. I will do my right cheek and the right side of the face with the Smart Profile Clarisonic, and I will do my chin area with Fenty Beauty foundation brush, just to see what happens and how does the product actually perform and move around. How easy is it to work with? Also, I am going to tell you how much does the product retail. Now, what I have found out is that some brands have their prices locked across the board. Like, no matter where you go, you buy something, it always costs the same. But there are other brands that allow the shift in price, dollar here, dollar there. So that's why I have looked into where you can buy this foundation and how is it priced out for you guys. So this foundation, Healthy Elixir, retails on Amazon for $9.99. In Target, it also retails for $9.99. CVS is selling it for $12.99. And in Ulta, it sells for $11.99. Now, these are not all of the possible places where you can buy, because I have not covered Walgreens or other possible retailers or websites where you can buy this foundation. These are just a couple of retailers. I personally purchased this one in Ulta, so I knew that I paid $11.99, but I wanted to do some research and kind of widen the spectrum of where a person can go buy it. What if you don't have an Ulta in your town, or what if you don't go there? So for the other retailers, I'm going to link the information down below, and I will try to search other websites and places, reputable websites of course, and places where else you can buy this foundation. So let's go ahead and start applying it. I am going to use this headband to get my hair out of the way, and I have not purchased the actual primer for this foundation, so I am going to prime with the Bee Hydra. This is by Drunk Elephant, and I am going to just go in and prime. This stuff works really well as a primer. If you don't have a primer, you need to use a moisturizer. You need to use something that will plump and hydrate your skin before you put on any foundation. Otherwise, the foundation is just going to slide off. You will end up with demarcation. You will end up with caking under your eyes, and we don't want that. So I am going to go ahead and use two of these pumps. I'm going to start applying with a beauty blender, like I said, to the left cheek area. What I can tell you right now is that this foundation has a very nice smell to it. The foundation has applied nice and smooth with a beauty blender, just as I had expected it to. So right now we are going to go in with, I'm going to use 2 more pumps. I'm going to go in with this Smart Profile and see how this applies the foundation onto the right side of my face. And actually I'm going to use the beauty blender just to kind of dot where I want the foundation to be. So now I have applied it to the right side of my face with this brush, and I can tell you right now that if you have seen my challenge video where I go beauty blender versus the Smart Profile blending tool, you can tell from right there that I do not like necessarily using this to apply or blend my foundation, and I will explain why. I can never seem to get into the areas that are very close to the eye socket, like the lower part of the lid, and also I have difficulty getting into these areas right here by the nose. So I am going to use the beauty blender just to touch up this stuff. And also I am just going to see how it works, even though my face is fully pretty much covered. I just want to see how Fenty Beauty Brush moves this foundation and what does it do with it. So I am going in with a brush. So the brush is applying it okay for me, but I think I just don't like the way it feels on my skin when I'm trying to work with this foundation. It almost feels like this particular foundation type is drying too fast on my skin, even though it doesn't feel dry. It is very hydrating and nice and refreshing, but when I go in with the Fenty brush, it gets really hard to move the product and actually blend it and make sure you go into all of the areas you're trying to go. So I would stick with a beauty blender, because there is something about the damp beauty blender that just can't be beat, you know. I think like when I use the beauty blender, the products that I am applying go on better, the foundations go in smoother. I just have a better overall experience, which is why I keep going back to the sponge. So now that that's done, unfortunately, I do not currently have a CoverGirl concealer, so I am not going to judge on the performance of this foundation based on what happens under my eyes, because I am going to use a different brand concealer. I am going to use my NARS, and I will just go ahead and apply that to the lower area right here, to where everything interesting is happening and needs to be covered up. And I will just blend it out with Beauty Blender. Like, I will then set it with a powder, and if something happens there, I will keep it in mind that this is a different formula, so could this be possibly interfering with the product? So there is going to be that kept in mind. So it has applied nicely and beautifully. The concealer that I have, when I put it onto my foundation, I could immediately tell that it's a lot lighter than this foundation, but that's okay. Normally I don't try to go too light because I don't want to look like a ghost, but we are working with what we got here. So what I am, however, going to do is I will set the face with the CoverGirl Outlast All Day powder. This is the light to medium. It's in the shade 830. This product contains 11 grams or 0.39 ounces. This product is oil-free. This supposedly, it says on the back of the product, that this will not clog the pores. This product also helps to control the shine. I purchased this one at Ulta, and it retailed there for $12.99. I have not done my research on the other retailers, but I will be sure to include that information in the comment section down below, so you can guys see around and shop for the best price possible. This is what the powder looks like. And I'm going to, like, just real quick swatch it. I mean, you cannot really tell anything. It actually pretty darn well matches my skin tone, at least on my wrist. And that's reassuring. So I am going to, like, put my beauty blender in this. I suppose I should have used their puff, but I'm not. And I will see what happens. I probably should just go ahead and try their puff just because it is there. So this is a little circle that it came with. So it is pretty pigmented. I mean, you can see how much stuff I got on it. I forgot to mention, this is a mattifying powder, and yes, it does seem like you will end up with a very matte finish after you are done with applying. Oh, and it is a little bit darker for my skin tone. I mean, on my wrist it looked fine, but as I'm applying it, I look a lot darker. I can look a little bit gray. I don't know how to explain that, but that's what I'm noticing. But I am not mad at this. I am not mad. I mean, I've seen worse powders out there, and the last thing I want to look like is a really white ghost. So I am not mad. This really works nicely. I think it will control the shine like they're saying. So even though I'm not really going to review this video was about this particular product, and this is what we are reviewing. But I am going to say that in order to give this particular product an honest to God fair review. It just made sense to be setting something with CoverGirl's product. And what I'm noticing from the right away is when I apply it, this smells really refreshing. It's a big plus for me. If I don't like the smell of a foundation, when I wear it throughout the day, I can smell it on myself, and that's really driving me nuts. So this has a very pleasant, very nice, refreshing scent. There's like in this corner 3 little circles, and when I first looked at this, I thought this is the shade explanation or something, but it really is telling you that this contains vitamin E, vitamin B3, and vitamin B5. So when they are telling you that this has the vitamins and antioxidants, this is the information you're looking at here to see what kind of vitamins it contains. It is really truly cool that it has the SPF in it, and they give you that information. Also, I really like that it has the real expiration date. I don't have to make a note for myself or try to remember when I bought the product. In the back of the product right here, it's like a little corner you can lift. It has 6 pages of information right there. So it tells you about the active ingredient. It shares information that it's oil-free. As if you're buying a medication over the counter or something, it gives you all of that information right here. It's in a pump, as you can tell, and that's always nice because the last thing I want to be doing is digging inside of the product and contaminating it. And there is this clear lid, and it goes in like that. Very nice and simple. There you have it. So my verdict for this foundation is absolutely, it's acquitted. It's amazing foundation. In fact, I will be absolutely like dead honest with you. You know that I like Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, but I would be honest with you, over the last couple of days, and when I used it for the entire day to see how it wears, I gave this more preference than to some of the other high-end foundations that I use. So for those of us on a budget, and even for me, am I going to look to rebuy it? Absolutely. Do I think you need to have expensive foundation that costs you $80? No. If you can get a foundation for $9.99 or $11.99 that works for you, more power to you. It's an absolutely amazing product. It's a solid brand. The only gripe I have against them is that they come in 14 shades. So if this was like Rihanna's 40 shade foundation type of situation, or even if they just had 22 shades, please, come on. Include some people with very fair skin and albinos. Include people with very deep, dark skin. It's important to be all-inclusive, and that makes people feel special when they can go in and purchase a shade. Oh yeah, they have my shade, that's great. That would be the only criticism that I have. Other than that, I give it a very high mark. Verdict is extremely great. I passed this foundation. It's great quality, guys, and without anything else to add to it, because I have depleted this particular subject right now, I feel. I will see you all in my next video, guys. Please leave me your questions and comments in the section down below. You can ask me some random question about makeup. You can ask me to review a particular brand. If you have a question about foundation, please let me know, and I'll see you all soon. I love you. Bye. Thank you, honey. I love you so much.
You're totally fine. If you reach out your arm all the way, it goes off camera. As long as you keep
yeah, I am not.
Here,
like, this is
fine.
not a, like, you
stick
know,
your arm out.
Everybody.
Stick your arm out.
Rock your body.
Will you let me guide you a little bit?
Sorry.
If you sit, no. You can put your arm out to about here.
Back streets back. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, baby. Please leave the room because. Thank you. Okay, let's fix this mane.